Hey, what's up, everybody? So, let's talk about why you should be extremely careful when it comes to long distance relationships. I would highly recommend steering clear of long distance relationships because you're going to get attached. The longer, the more and more you communicate, the attachment will get there. It's not a real relationship. You're going to get attached. You're going to start creating a bond with a figment of your imagination, with something that is not real. It's not a real relationship. The person that you're communicating with, the person that you're flirting with, chatting to, whether it's a pen pal or whatever, that person is essentially becoming fuel for this fantasy that you're creating and nurturing and keeping alive in your head. It's not real, it's not reality. But the person you're communicating with is real, they exist on the other end, but you're going to take it's like 20% at most of a relationship. There's 80% that you're not seeing. This is why so many people that have long periods of communication with someone online or whoever it is, and then when they meet, it's like they're meeting for the first time, even though they know everything about each other, even though they, have talked, whether it's chatted or, Skype called or WhatsApped or, Facebook messaged each other, whatever, medium that you're using to be in touch with this person. As time goes by, you're going to grow roots into the idea of this person. It's not even a real person. That person that you're communicating with um, is an idea. It's like I remember when I lived in England, there was a drink called Ribena, right? And Ribena was like a concentrate. It's like concentrated fruit juice, and you add water to it, and then it becomes the drink, right? And long distance relationships are really similar because you're only getting words, or you're hearing their sound, or if you can get to see them, at least that would be a little bit better, but still it's totally incomplete. And that's the Ribena. And then you're adding 90% water to it. And what's the water? The water is your fantasy that you start to create, the stories that you start to weave, the expectations that you start to develop about the relationship. Oh, we're going to do this, and oh, he or she is going to be like this, and we're going to have kids, and we're going to have a beautiful house, and we're going to do this and do that. And it's all fueled and enhanced by this sexual connection and the flirting, and you know even online, even through long distance contact and communication, there is that excitement, there's that stimulation, that sense of, oh, there's someone that I can speak to, or there's someone I can look forward to communicating and connecting with, or there's someone that I have, right? I have someone. You feel whole, you feel more complete. But it's not real. It's not real, except the attachment that you start building, that can become very real. And in a lot of cases, both people aren't on the same page. And when one person finally decides to say, hey, well, are we going to meet up? Sometimes the other person's true colors show and will be afraid to meet up. And then you'll realize that, oh, I've been led astray. I've been duped into believing and thinking that this person is as serious as I am, when in fact they're not, and they were just getting, entertained. They were feeling loved. They were getting that attention, right? Attention is power. It's love. It feels good when we receive attention. It feels good when we think we have someone, but it's virtual. It's a virtual relationship. It's not real. A real relationship begins when you meet face to face. And there are a lot of examples um, of people who will have communicated online or by phone, long distance for a long time, sometimes even years. And when they finally meet, it's like they're meeting for the first time ever, even though they know so much about each other, even though they think they know the other person. Meeting face to face, that's the first time. That's day one of the relationship, regardless of everything that has come before it. If it's pen pals, if it's writing letters, if it's all of this, none of it matters, in my opinion. None of it. A real relationship has to start face to face. I would even go as far as to say a real relationship begins when you start living with that person. So even if you're dating and both of you have the desire and the intention or the expectation for it to turn into something more serious down the road, I highly advise that you start to spend more time together living with each other, because that's like the true test. That's when you really are going to get to know a person, what they behave like, what do they do all day long, what's their attitude like, how do they sleep, how do they eat, what do they do in their spare time. So whenever I encounter anyone who is engaging in a long distance relationship, the first thing I always say is this is a really bad idea. It's extremely dangerous because you can get your heart broken. You can The expectations that you may have are often really different to the reality. It's sort of like anything really, test driving a car or buying something, or if you're going to buy a house, how can you decide on that house until you've like gone inside and seen it and you know looked at it over and over? Same with a car, you got to test drive it, right? You got to drive it. You can't just decide, and just be like fantasizing about the car, just looking at pictures of it for years and years and years, and then maybe when you finally like see it, it's like, whoa, this actually doesn't look anything like the pictures, or it looks totally different. It smells different. It looks different. It feels different. It behaves differently. When we communicate through limited forms of communication, whether it's email, texting, video calls are definitely better, but they're still like very incomplete and limited in comparison to actually standing, face to face, meeting someone face to face. So yeah, I'm not a fan at all of long distance relationships. Fortunately, I've never indulged or entertained long distance relationships for too long. I have, of course, had experiences with them, but you have to be very careful because you can grow attached, you can grow fond, you can start to grow roots into not the person, but into this idea of the person that's in your head. And whoever you're communicating with is simply fueling, it's guiding that image, that idea, that fantasy. It's just fueling the fantasy. But you've got to understand that it's just a fantasy, it's not real. And nothing can compete with the human imagination. What I mean by that is I'll give you an example. Funny example is the movie Alien, the first Alien, or Jaws. Those are both good examples of movies where the director or the filmmaker hasn't put the monster in the movie too much and has left most of it to your imagination. So people just create like this the scariest monster in their mind, like, oh, you know, and nothing's going to compete with that imagination. And it's the same thing here. When, let's say, I'm communicating with someone who's in a different country, I'm going to talk to them. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be stimulating. And then I'm going to go away and I'm just going to, without realizing it, I'm going to fantasize. I'm going to dream. I'm going to think about this person and the possibilities. It's not real. It's not reality. I'm just going to create. I'm going to weave. I'm going to weave up a dream of this person. And then I can get attached to that. And then when the reality doesn't match with my expectation, that's when I suffer. That's when I start to break down. That's when I cry and feel empty and alone. And because the attention and the time and energy that I've given, not just when I'm communicating with this person, but also when I'm away and I'm fantasizing and dreaming and just, wishing and hoping and planning about what we're going to do and how it's going to be and all of this. So I have nothing against long distance pen pals, friendships, that's fine, but understand what that is and keep it in check. Keep your expectations in check so that you will avoid spending energy and time suffering and recovering and learning. Okay? Understand that when we communicate through limited forms of communication, whether it's texting, email, Skype calls, whatever it is, that especially when it's in a setting of like two people who are attracted to each other, dating, right? Long distance relationships or dating, you're only going to get the best of that person. That person's only going to show you the best. Why? Because to truly get to know someone, like I said, if you live with them and spend enough time with them, you're going to see what they're like all day long. You're going to see what they're like when they're sad, when they're angry, when they're tired, when they're energized, when they're excited. And then you're going to get the full picture, the 100%. Maybe not even 100%. Some people will never truly fully know another person. You don't have to, but at least you'll get to know them, very well. But when you're communicating long distance, you're only going to get to hear from them when they're excited, and they're going to be excited to speak to you. You're going to be excited to speak to them. So every time you speak, every time you connect, it's like excitement. It's like energizing. It's stimulating. It's awesome every time. And if you start to get sexual as well, whether it's phone sex or sexting or Skype sex or whatever, there's so many ways nowadays, right, that we can be intimate with each other, even virtually. The more and more you do that can enhance the attachment and the bond and the expectations, and it can fuel everything even more. So, as I've said before, actually a lot of people, they wind up getting disappointed when they have been dating on, like long distance for a long time, or it doesn't even have to be long distance. You could live down the street from one another, but you're just not meeting and you're sticking to, texting or emailing or whatever. When one person's like, hey, shall we meet? And then the other person might back off or show signs of disinterest or fear. It's not a good sign. That's a sign that, well, that person was content with just keeping it virtual, just as fun, as excitement, as someone to talk to. It's more like a pen pal or friends with benefit online, like an online friends with benefit, right? Sexting partner, whatever you want to call it. And then the other person had different expectations, wanted more, was actually serious. So that happens a lot. I see that a lot, where one person had expectations, and then the other person wasn't really on the same page. And again, It's hard to tell when you're communicating through limited forms of communication. That's why when you meet face to face, you're both demonstrating to each other that, at least you're serious in terms of, hey, we're going to meet and we're both on the same page, and we are interested in dating each other face to face. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the long distance relationship at all. Like, for me to say I'm not a fan, that's a huge understatement. I think it's a really terrible idea. I see a lot of people who suffer. I've had a lot of clients who have suffered as a result of long distance relationships. Just stay away from them, in my opinion. Stay away. There's plenty of people around, who live close to you, nearby you. Okay, if you're really interested in a relationship, then I'm sure there's going to be someone close by to you, right? Now, I have had clients and I have been in situations where, I've known people who they seek outside of their country, right? Because maybe they don't like their city, they don't like their town, maybe they don't like their country, and they're trying to get out, and they're trying to go beyond their social circle or their town. Maybe they live in a small town or a small island or a small country, and they just don't like the people in their town, and they're trying to reach farther. They're interested in, people from different countries. That's totally fine. That's okay. But I don't think it's healthy to go too long before meeting. I don't think you should go over a month. Like, if you meet someone, you're chatting to them, and they live in a different country, you should plan to meet as soon as possible, because, like I said, the day you meet, that's day one. That's the first date. Ignore all the hours of chatting to each other on the phone until 6 in the morning or sending each other texts. None of that really matters. It doesn't matter. You got to meet the person. That's day one. That's moment number one. So if you're trying to, if you're unhappy with where you live and you want to meet people in different countries and you want to maybe leave your country, well, that's not the way to do it either. If you want to leave your country, it shouldn't be because of you shouldn't be using a relationship to do that. You should be building towards leaving your country and to be in the right environment, or be in an environment that you like, whether it's a country you like or a city you like. And then once you've established yourself, then go ahead and start dating from there. But you've got to prioritize first. Am I going to start dating before I have a good stable income? No. Am I going to start dating before I have somewhere where I can live? No, right? So you've got to prioritize first. Get your shit together first. So have your income sorted out first. That should be your life priority first, right? A good, steady source of income. Then place to live. Where are you living? That should be high up there as well. And then after that, your health, your mental health, your mental and physical health and well-being should come up above dating. And I think once you've got those basic things in place first, then you can go ahead and start dating. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this has been communicated clearly. I'll make more videos on this topic. I literally was just about to respond to an email and I thought, let me go and quickly do a video on this, because it's a video I've been meaning to make for a very long time. So I guess the most important gist of this video is to it's like a warning. Stay away from long distance relationships. They are dangerous because you can get hurt, you can get attached, and if someone winds up suddenly just not feeling on the same page as you, it can be as hurtful as a real relationship. All right, everyone. Sending everyone out there all the very best. More videos are on the way, and yeah, hope you'll excuse the lack of videos. I've just been busy with sessions, more and more sessions, I do chat sessions, I do video calls, I do phone calls. So it's been really awesome. But I have to say, I do put a lot into my sessions, so there has been less time and energy for these videos. But I'm working on that balance, as I said before, and we'll definitely keep the videos coming. We'll definitely be sharing as much as I can, everything I learn, as much as I learn, and you know, as much as I can see that works, I will put out in these videos and share with everyone. Um, all right, good luck to everybody out there. I hope you're all enjoying this amazing existence that we are really, truly lucky to be experiencing. Being alive is truly the greatest trip of all, and yeah, I hope you're all making an awesome journey of it all. Okay? All right, talk to you all soon. Adios. Bye.